Welcome to Hopscotch-N-Jacks,
a podcast where we take our inner child
back to school to unpack and unlearn
the lessons that shaped us to better ourselves
and our futures. I'm Caryn.
And I'm Justis.
Let's go.
And now it's time for our morning announcements.
On Saturday, June 14th, President Turd attempted to fool the world by throwing a military parade for the Army, which celebrates its 250 years of service on the same day he was hatched. This is a long time coming for the Orange Man who attempted to throw a party for his birthday during his first term, but was denied by the Pentagon. Now, with near total control of the government, he got his wish. In protest, nearly 2,000 cities across the nation held No Kings counter protests. The Spawn of Satan's parade only saw 600 attendees, while tens of thousands showed up in Los Angeles alone. The parade was estimated to cost $45 million of taxpayer money, plus the unknown, untold cost of protecting counter-protests around the country. One such city in Virginia saw violence when a driver drove into the crowd. The driver, 21-year-old Joseph Cheklik, was charged with reckless driving.
Reckless driving.
Yes.
So for me to better understand that, he drove his car into protesters against the parade.
Yes, they were dispersing. The parade was over. This was in a parking lot. So as he was leaving, I guess he was in a little bit of a rush. And he struck at least one of the protesters.
And it's called reckless driving.
Reckless driving, a misdemeanor. It looks like he's going to get a $250 fine for this.
Again, reckless driving.
Reckless driving,
okay,
yes.
Let's go up to my taxpayer money. I mean, we're paying these taxes, and it's interesting how we don't have a say-so of how our tax money is being spent. We vote these people into office to do for the people, and I feel like they're taking that power and doing for themselves or whatever they want to do. And this parade is bonkers.
Yes.
I mean, you're not the royal family. You're not Putin. You're not Hitler, even though that's what you align yourself to. So, is this what's going to be happening every year while he's in office?
I certainly hope not. I certainly hope not. It's way too much money. The fact that the military is already getting a large sum of the money in our budget, and you would use military forces to celebrate yourself. And I recognize that he's, cloaked this in a celebration for the Army, but that's not what this is. And even if it was for the Army, we certainly didn't need this. We didn't need parachuters. We didn't need military tanks. They had to lay out metal plates in order to protect the streets so that they could have military tanks drive through the streets of DC. Why was that necessary?
And have we ever done a huge parade for the military like this?
No, not for the military. Well, I mean, there was one in 1991 with George Bush after the Gulf War, and that cost about $12 million. Yeah.
I wonder if they're going to have performers.
I believe that there are performers there. I don't know who's performing. I certainly hope no one black, but, that's just...
Snoop Dogg, don't be showing up.
I mean, he was a jigaboo for doing it during the inauguration. Mm-hmm. So I wouldn't be surprised.
We already expect Kid Rock to be there, but,
yes.
I'm just calling you out, Snoop. And you're probably like, I don't give a fuck, but I'm still calling you out. Don't be showing up for that shit. All right. So from one protest to another.
Indeed.
And as you know, in California, we still have the anti-immigration protests taking place. And last week I discussed this and talked about how we can use our platform to help shine a light on some of the injustices that are taking place with immigration in regards to not abiding by providing these individuals due process. However, there are a lot of blacks who have decided to sit out for this protest. And the question is why? And when we have to go back and let's just address the election. Now, although Harris won the majority of the Hispanic and Latino vote by a 62-37% margin, Trump had the highest Hispanic Latino turnout in Republican history since the 1970s. And because of this uptick of supporters, it helped him win the seat in the White House. And with ICE moving in and deporting large amounts of the Latino community without due process, Trump's disapproval ratings within the Latin community has now begun to erode. Ironically, it's doing this time. So the question becomes, what about the black community? Why do some people not want to support the Latinos and Hispanics? And it's because the black community feels a little let down by people of color, especially groups of the Latino community and Asian community that grew in support of Trump this last election. With anti-blackness that is embedded in a lot of Latino communities, racial slurs currently are being thrown at black cops who are at these protests, not making them to stop the protest, but just there to give protection. And amongst the other things that continue to divide our communities, why is it always about black people supporting other groups when we always feel let down when it comes to standing up for black rights? Because they tend to always vote the opposite way instead of in a way that's going to improve the black community. A lot of Latinos have said, Trump knows what he's doing, and now they're watching their families being ripped apart. And a lot of them are saying, I voted for you, Trump, and you're taking my wife away. I voted for you, Trump, and my child who's biracial is now being deported. I voted for you, Trump, so why do we as a black community need to stand up and attend these protests if there was no intention for them to really... I don't know. I'm asking the question. I believe we should be supporting no matter what's the case, because I feel like, when they go low, we go high. But I do understand when people are getting tired of always coming out and supporting other communities, and then when we need support, they disappear. They pull that disappearing act. I thought things had changed during 2020, but I also see that things have not changed as much when 2024 elections came across and what Kamala had to go through when she was running. So what's your take on this, friend?
I think you kind of covered it.
Oh, damn.
You essentially said what I was going to say, which is I generally think that black people are tired. I don't think that it's you didn't vote for Kamala and therefore reap what you sow. There's a part of that, I'm sure. Mm-hmm. I feel a little of that too, but I have people I care about who are in danger of this. So I am definitely on their side. I want people to have due process. I want you to have a chance to stay. So I'm definitely not, anti-Latino or anti-immigrant. I'm not anti-immigrant at all. I think that we are a country made of immigrants. But I do believe that there are a lot of us who are just tired. I personally am very tired. It's so hard to wake up in the morning and look at my phone and see all of the terrible news that we keep seeing. It's hard to want to continue to, be a part and be involved. I think that we have to be out there and fighting for sure. But there's also a problem when we go out and fight that suddenly, when we go out to protest, suddenly there are people out there creating riots, and it's not us. They use that as an excuse. They use us as an excuse to do these things, to burn cities down, and it's not us, but we get the blame for it. Like, if we sit out, maybe you have a better chance of being heard because they just blame it on us. I don't know what it is. I don't know what the answer is, but I know that it's definitely not "we are against you," because, again, I said this last week, injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. They come for the weakest first, and then they keep going. They don't stop and say, okay, we got those folks out, and so we're good. No, don't be complacent. Don't believe that. They are coming after citizens. So the fact that he's trying to get rid of birthright citizenship means even black people and white people, if you're paying attention, you should know that you're not safe either. It is what it is.
It is what it is.
We all got to fight. But, sometimes you also have to sit down and rest. And I don't know what the answer is. And I don't know what the timeline looks like. But it's definitely not a "we're against you." That ain't it.
That ain't it.
I think we might have a story time coming up. That's what that means. That means it is story time. Justis, would you like to tell us a story?
Yeah, so, I'm Netflixing and chilling by myself. You know what I'm saying?
What is that? Netflix and chilling by yourself. I don't know if that's what that means.
I'm Netflixing. Not like, oh my God, why do you do this? Like, I try to keep it PG.
Netflix and chilling, and I'm like,
I try to keep it PG-13. You always taking it to like XXX or XXX crap.
Did I say anything?
Oh my
I didn't say
God.
anything. You did that.
Man, chill.
She did it. That wasn't me.
Let me
Y'all
have a
saw
drink
that.
before I get started.
Y'all saw that. That wasn't me.
No. All right, so since I've been watching Netflix, I came across a series called Ginny in Georgia. Now, I was surprised that there was 3 seasons, so I'm a little behind. So, I'm catching up, and I'm on season 1. And season 1, episode 3, Next Level Rich People Shit, really caught my attention. In this episode, Jenny's new relationship with Hunter takes a tense turn when their shared biracial identities become a point of contention. Both mixed race, Jenny black and white, Hunter Asian and white, get into a heated argument, each believing their experiences with racism and microaggressions are inherently worse or more valid than the others. The argument arises as they discuss their different upbringings and the distinct ways society perceives and treats them due to their racial backgrounds. Jenny feels misunderstood and invalidated by Hunter, who from her perspective hasn't faced the same level of overt or systemic anti-black racism. Hunter, in turn, believes Jenny isn't fully grasping the unique challenges of being Asian passing or the stereotypes he navigates. This clash highlights the complex and often competitive nature of discussing racial identity even amongst those who share similar experiences of being biracial. Now, the reason why this episode resonated with me is because of my own upbringing in a mixed family. My adoptive father is white and my mother is black, and they had my biracial little brother. So growing up, I didn't fully grasp his experience as a biracial child. While we did attend biracial events as a family to learn about this unique relationship, in the 80s, it wasn't as popular being in a biracial family as it is now. It was still making waves, when we would attend these events, admired the unique beauty of mixed children, their lighter skin, their light eyes, and their curly hair. And I must admit, I felt a little jealous, seeing them as more special because of all the attention that was being brought. However, As I matured and began to understand the profound history of Blackness, particularly the legacy of slavery in this country, my self-love deepened. This led to a new question regarding my brother. How can he embrace his white heritage when that side of history inflicted such pain on his Black side? Before the age of 10, we lived in an all-Black neighborhood, and he went to an all-Black school. And he was often teased for looking white. Later on in life, we moved to a majority white area. He faced questions when our vibrant Black mother, young, attractive, would walk into the room, and he would get questions like, "That's your mom? Your mother's Black? Those are your sisters? How does that work, living with two Black sisters?" I often wondered if he felt embarrassed by us around his friends, because sometimes I didn't even know who his friends were. And when they would meet us for the first time, it was as if he's never even spoken about us. So all of this raises a crucial question. Is he Black or white? In our conversations, I know he desires to be both, because he is both. His DNA is Black and is white. Yet society often perceives him primarily as white. And I question as well, how does he feel when his sisters express our Blackness and share our experiences? Are we inadvertently making him feel less than a white passing male in society, in contrast to our Black female experiences? Because of this discord, there has been a broken bridge. And as we discuss what it means to be pro-Black, I want to know, how can we as a family bridge this divide and discuss these deeply personal racial identities without causing more hurt, especially when navigating what it means to be pro-Black? I know all families have their issues. And I know there's been times when we would talk, my sister, my mom, myself, about our Black experiences and what it means to be Black in America. And I know he always felt out of place at times. But I also understand that you can't deny his experiences, because we are living and navigating this world through each other's own perspectives. He is a male, I'm a female. He is white passing, but he loves both sides. He deals with racism with white people and have to defend Black people. And then when they realize that he's biracial, they look at him funny. He gets called out for looking white by Black people on the street, yelling at him. For what? For what? So when you are a mix of both, and other people aren't seeing or feeling what you are feeling when you're sitting in that same room as everybody else. As a Black person, when I'm sitting in that same room as everybody else and someone's saying something that I know is a racist statement, and other people aren't hearing it that way, or they're walking this thin line to see how far they can push me, I don't know how he was able to handle that. Is it easier for him to just be, you know what, you see me as white, I see some privileges that I'm able to benefit from. I don't really feel comfortable talking about the Black and white issue because I am a product of a Black and white issue. how do you face that? How do you deal with that? And how can I be proud of being black without offending my brother?
Are you?
I'm asking. Yes,
Okay.
Yes. Yes. Can I take a drink real fast?
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
And my apologies for getting a little emotional.
You don't have to apologize for getting emotional, my friend. We have emotions and they are going to come out at times. And, literally this show the purpose of this is to talk about this stuff and grow from it, unpacking it and figuring it out. Like that is important. So I thank you for sharing that. It's a tough thing. I don't have the answers, mostly because I don't have that experience. Not only your experience of growing up in a house with a white dad and a white passing brother, but also I'm not white passing. I don't have, ties that are that tight. So I am coming from a completely different experience being a black woman who is never going to be mistaken for anything other than a black woman, maybe a dude one day, but that's why I keep the long hair, but it's,
unless you're taping down your chest.
Right. Yeah. These triple Ds, let's be clear, they are not hiding from anyone. But it's tough. That's a very, very tough thing to navigate. I don't know how you deal with it, but I think the best way to go about it is with love and understanding, having empathy. Like I can imagine it's a very, very tough thing to have to deal with, both in the position that you're in and especially for your brother, because, people don't see him as he is. They see his skin color and they see maybe the texture of his hair and they make assumptions. And then when they learn, sometimes they're assholes, and sometimes they're assholes before they know. Because I think you told me that, sometimes white people look at him and, they see their brethren and they're assholes because they're assholes to black people. And, suddenly they're realizing that they've been treating this person better than they would have had they known.
Yep.
Like, that's trash. Like, I wish people were better. They're not. I don't know if we ever will get better as a society because there's a great division, and that division was not created by black people, and that is really, really tough. I don't know if it's for black people to fix, but maybe we'll touch on a little bit of that later in the episode. But yeah, that's tough.
Yeah. If any one of our viewers or people on Instagram, if you guys have any suggestions or a similar story, go ahead and write to us. Share it with the pod. You can write to us at hopscotchnjackspod@gmail.com with story time in the subject.
Maybe we will use your story in a future episode.
Yeah.
So this episode comes out on Juneteenth, and in honor of that, today's core curriculum is critical race theory, and we're talking about what it means to be pro-black. The concept of pro-blackness emerged in the 60s and 70s with the Black Power movement, when its leaders encouraged us to start our own businesses and to buy black. Put simply, in my own words, to be pro-black is to accept the charge to not only fight systemic racism, inequality, and oppression of black individuals or us as a collective, but also to support black business, encourage black joy, and love black people. I love the idea of being pro-black. and think everyone else should feel the same. But can we expect any other group to fight with the same fervor that we do? Even within the Black community, there are levels to this and questions that need answers. We can't ignore the separatist ideals some people who claim pro-Blackness have, like integration won't save us. Let's talk about some of these questions. Can you be pro-Black if you choose your mental health over your Blackness? Now, Justis, you had this question, and I think it was about protesting.
Protesting, activism, always having to fight. And as we had mentioned earlier in the morning announcements, we get tired.
Yes.
And if I'm tired, like, do I have to always show up for these things? Sometimes I just, or have a discussion about it every time. Can we just shoot the shit? Like, do we have to always bring up something that is going on in this world right now against our people? Do we always have to organize and put together a protest to try to, get equal rights? I mean, we've been protesting for years and we've moved the needle about that much, and we got this amount to go, Even in relationships, when you just want to kick it, Netflix and chill, the conversation comes up. And it's like, okay, it's a trigger. It's always a trigger. It's always some type of emotional wave that I can't really balance on at times. And so sometimes I just want to shut it off and just focus on my mental health and just be like, you got that today. But I don't want to feel judged because I'm choosing my mental health at this time.
Yeah, I mean, the tough thing is, especially when you bring up relationships, I think about, the times when I've had issues with somebody at work. And I want to come home and just talk about my issues. Most of the time, most people aren't like, do you have the capacity to deal with this?
Because that's a lot of space that you need to make in order to receive it. I mean, especially in relationships.
Yes.
We're coming from our jobs, our own prospective jobs, right?
Yes.
And we all are experiencing different things. Sometimes they're in alignment. But when you come home, that's supposed to be your safe space, right?
Right.
And yes, you do want to share your concerns and your issues with your partner, but then at the same time, sometimes you just want to, can we just have dinner? Can we just watch a romantic movie, with comedy in it?
Yeah.
You like how I did that?
It's perfect. But yeah.
And just laugh, like.
The thing is, you want to come home and maybe you want to share this issue, but sometimes you don't want to share the issue and your person wants to share their issue. And you're just like, oh
shit.
I had my own shit I had to deal with. Now I have to come home and listen to you deal and listen to your stuff too. Yeah. Like, oh my goodness. It's really, really, really hard to be Black sometimes. I love being Black, but I honestly, a lot of people complain about Black people complaining about our issues, and it's just like, the issues are valid.
They're valid.
I understand your issue with our issues, but we have issues because other people have given us issues.
And we have to deal with them every single day.
And sometimes you want to talk about it, and therapy is 6 days away.
I mean, I had to step away from a position that I held at my company that I work with because it was impacting my mental health. And the things that I wanted to do to elevate the culture there, it was just touching the surface. And when I realized I can't really do that here, this is a corporation, I need to take it outside if I'm going to really try to impact the community. But it became a mental health issue for myself. So when I decided to step down and step away, I felt like my shoulders go a little bit.
Yeah.
And then I was able to go a little more, you know? So
you have to do that for your mental health. But at the same time, and I imagine since you didn't say it, you don't want me to share what you did, but I totally understood it.
Yeah.
I got it, because even though you're trying to have a good impact on the community, if it's having an impact on a negative impact on your mental health, you have to prioritize that. You cannot prioritize the community over your mental health, because you cannot pour from an empty cup.
Exactly. And speaking of pouring from an empty cup, can you be pro-Black if you don't vote?
I don't think you can. I don't think you can. It is, in my opinion, impossible to be pro-Black while sitting on the sidelines.
So, question for you. If we can call each other out and say you're not pro-Black or you're not representing your community because you chose not to vote because of the yip yap, all the stuff that's going on, you choose that. Do you hold your POC counterparts or people of other race accountable too, who claim to be your friends or claim to be, you know, if you're in a relationship with them or whatever, do you say, does that kind of hinder your trust in those people?
Yes. Yeah. Let's be very clear, and I don't have any problem saying this. I have a family member that could not be closer to me. They did not create me, but outside of that, they could not be closer to me.
You guys share the same DNA?
Yes. We shared the same womb at different times, obviously, because I don't have a twin. But at the time of the election, during the time of the election, I was just like, I cannot be close to you right now. Like, we've never been close, but I thought we had a good relationship, but I feel betrayed by that. I'll be honest with you, because I've always felt like you show up for your people. And the idea that you would abstain from voting when I don't think that any one vote keeps us from, having this asshat in office. Like, I recognize that one vote isn't going to do that.
You're your nicknames for this guy.
Well, it is what it is. He got nicknames for everybody else. Why can't we have nicknames for him?
There you go.
Let's be very clear.
The switch. Not you.
So, but it was in my eye, so it had to go. It's a good excuse. The point is, if your views are not aligned with my views, and my views are I should have rights, that means you don't think that I should have rights. And why would I be in close community with someone who believes I should not have rights? Like, let's be clear. At the same time, I don't think we can throw people away. So I don't know what to do with that. It's something that I struggle with constantly, on a consistent basis. But when you break it down, for me, I believe not voting is a vote for the opposition. And if that is not the opposition to you, then you are opposite me.
Mic drop.
I don't understand. To me, there is no other, I'm not sure what else there is, especially if you can't have a conversation about it. If you're somebody who's like, oh no, I don't deal with politics, I don't want to do that, that's just not whatever. No, that's an excuse to keep you comfortable. You don't want to hear what I have to say because it's going to make you feel a way about how you feel.
And they'll say, well, I'm just protecting my mental health.
Crazy how you protecting your mental health puts me in danger, but I'm supposed to be okay with that. I don't see how that works.
Right?
How does that work, Justis?
It doesn't work.
Do you think so? Do you think that you can be pro-Black if you don't vote?
even if you do vote and you don't vote in the direction, or you don't vote for an individual or for a policy that protects my rights, then no, you can't be pro-black. There's a lot of people who I have come across that claim they're pro-black, but they voted for, as you would call him, the orange man.
Or the orange turd, either one. Interchangeable, really. Is he a man?
Is he a man? I don't know. I would have to say, like, if you voted for him or vote for policies that's against me, and I shouldn't say against me because I don't want it to be like a personal attack against me, but for our community, for the black community, then I don't think you can be pro-black. Because you're not voting for the rights of your unborn child. You're not voting for the rights of your child today. You're not voting for the rights of your wife. You're not voting for the rights of your own life.
Right.
So, I'm sorry, dude. You're not pro-black. You just black.
Let's be clear. If I don't want to get stuck on the turd of it all, I do want to kind of talk about the fact that all of his, I wouldn't say all, because I don't know all, most of his policies are against black people, women, LGBTQ folks, unions. Like, he hits so many marginalized folks, it's insane. And I know that I will say one thing about the opposing viewpoint on this, that I don't vote because I don't like the other candidate. Frankly, you must lack critical thinking skills if you think that, oh, me not voting for this person because they don't fit the racial identity that I want to vote for, or they aren't perfect, or they are not 100% the person that I want them to vote for, or they're Indian and not black, or any of the things that I have just said, or things that I cannot get to because we don't want this episode to be 2 hours long. The fact is, you still voted or didn't vote against the policies that the orange asshat wanted. And you're going to have to deal with that. The fact that this person is, okay, we're not doing the political thing.
Yeah, you're going.
I am, ooh.
Gone.
Let's move on. Let's move on. Justis.
Yeah, I'm sorry. You're sizzling.
Maybe
right
I'll
now.
have a drink. Let me have a drink. Maybe that'll help.
Calm down, my friend. Calm down.
I don't think it will help because I put way too much scotch in that sucker.
Why are you telling people what you're drinking?
Sorry. This show is called Hopscotch-N-Jacks for a reason. And I'm starting to slur. So let's keep it pushing.
Pump it up.
Justis, can you be pro-black if you don't like hip-hop or rap?
Now, I understand the history and I understand the culture, but I would have to say I think you can be pro-black. And here's why. Our culture just isn't rooted in hip-hop or rap. It starts off with hillbilly music. And
Our culture starts off with hillbilly music?
in the United States. I'm talking about United States. I'm not talking about Africa.
Okay.
I'm talking about the way we have developed our own sound here in the United States. And I think there's a huge chance that there's a lot of black people who are pro-black that do not have a connection to hip-hop or rap because that came from a culture of the streets, not the country. And when I say country, I'm talking about if you live in the country. they didn't have to deal with a lot of the stuff that rap music, when it first came out, spoke about. So if there's a disconnect there, I can understand that. So I'm not gonna take your black card away because of that. I wasn't even able to listen to hip hop music when I was a kid until MC Hammer came out and was singing "Can't Touch This," can't touch this, because of the way the music was degrading women, the way it spoke about violence, and because of the fact that it's like, how are you going to allow that to hit the airwaves and the positive music that's out there you're trying to shut down? So I don't think, if you don't want to listen to hip-hop music or rap, I don't consider you non-pro-black.
I'm going to take your black card away. I'm joking. I mean, I agree with you. You went way too intellectual with it, in my opinion. I do think that, I don't disagree with you, but the fact that you're just like, oh no, we back into the history of music and all, like, really?
I was a music major.
Okay. So I don't think that you have to listen to hip hop or rap. I mean, this is kind of a jokey question to begin with. But I don't think you have to listen to hip hop or rap to be considered pro-black. One, because most of hip hop and rap is degrading to women. So how can you be pro-black if there's a part of you that believes women are inferior? Mm-hmm. Like, women are black too. Black women are black too. So,
and how can you be pro-black when you're calling your brother the N-word all the time?
Yeah. It doesn't work. The fact that you think that someone, one, should be silent while you murder someone in the black community and then call them snitches and then want to come after them, that makes no sense whatsoever. I mean, most of this is, I don't listen to a lot of hip hop or rap. Mm-hmm. And honestly, I grew up listening to Will Smith because I was kind of in love with him.
Yeah, Will Smith was cool. I mean, he didn't cuss in his albums to sell records, but Eminem did. So fuck him and fuck you too.
That is a Eminem lyric, if you're unaware. But honestly, I mean, I don't exalt Will Smith for not cussing in rap, and I don't think that all rap is bad. And obviously, I love a lot of the current rap because I love a Doechii or a Megan Thee Stallion. Like, I super enjoy that. I don't care for the degradation of women, though. That is my biggest problem with hip hop and rap. There are some artists that I do enjoy that do that to an extent, like a Ludacris. But Ludacris is asking me about my fantasy. He's not just being selfish. He wants to, with a tag team off the road part, maybe we're getting too specific. The point is,
I was too intellectual with mine. I don't know what she is with hers.
I mean, I am all over the place because this is how my brain works. Like, I am someone who...
Sounds like you're questioning yourself as you answer. Wait, let me cover this part. Let me cover this part.
I absolutely mean everything that I say. Is just that I have so many different... It's not so many different viewpoints, but it's like I cannot ignore the other half of the argument. I look at things like a prism. And I'm sorry, this is... another conversation. Like, we could go deep. It'll take 5,000 years for me to unpack so many things. It's not just this, but long story short, I do not think that what you listen to dictates your politics. It can, but I don't think that it's the only thing that we care about or should, take into consideration.
I agree. So moving on.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Can you be pro-black in an interracial relationship, or if you seek out non-black love?
I think if you're seeking out non-black love, then you're not pro-black. If you happen to, I say this all the time, and I say this in regards to any relationship possible. That's why I'm like, I don't know if I want to identify as a lesbian, because if someone trips me and I fall in love, I'm not going to deny that love. These are the facts. Mm-hmm. These are the facts.
So you just want to sit on that fence.
It's less that I want to sit on the fence because I know that I'm seeking out, and specifically to my sexuality, I know that I want to find a wife. But again, if, like I said, a trans man tripped me and, I was like, okay, I don't care that you're 5'5" and my height. I'm okay. Or you're 5 feet or 5'1".
4'11", Prince was.
Exactly. You know what I mean? Like, if I fall in love, I fall in love, and I'm going to, pursue that love regardless. But if I am honestly, if I am seeking out non-black love, then I cannot possibly be pro-black. Because one of the concepts of pro-blackness is the progression of the black family. How can you possibly look to progress the black family if your goal is to find someone who is not black? But I don't think that if you're in an interracial relationship, you are not pro-black. I think that the seeking out is the thing that makes it non-pro-black, because literally your goal is to find somebody who's not black. How can you possibly claim that if that's what you want? Justis?
Oh, it's my turn to speak on it?
I would love to hear your viewpoint on it.
I think I've had interracial relationships.
What?
Yeah.
Really?
I already spoke about being brought up in a mixed family.
Yes.
And it is hard to speak about your blackness or even talk about the history or things that's just in your DNA that you don't have to explain. Like, a situation can happen and I can look at you and we'd be there. That same situation can happen, I can look at my partner and they're just like, what? And then you have to explain and they're like, really? You got all that from that? And it's like, oh my God, I'm so exhausted. I need to focus on my mental health. So it makes it harder to have certain conversations. Now, if you're seeking out non-black love, we've been on these dating apps, and you're gonna have black people that go through your feed, and have other go through your feed. Are you seeking out, or are you just swiping left or right on what that avatar is presenting themselves, right?
Yeah.
And I think some people do seek out black love because maybe they weren't strong enough to handle black love. I've heard a lot of men say things about it's easier to date a white woman than it is to date a black woman. Those type of things. And I was a little offended. I was like, really? But if that's how you want to swim, that's how you want to swim. And if you're going about it in such a very immature manner by saying it's easier to date another race than it is your own race, then I think you have a problem with your race, period. So I think there's some self-hatred that's taken place in that spirit, in that regard, personally. So
yeah, I mean, we were talking about this when we were talking about this episode and coming up with some of these questions. And honestly, I think that it is, like, one of the things that we touched on was the idea that being with a black woman is a little bit harder than being with someone who is not black. Because, if the waitress or the waiter comes over and they have served 5 people before you, when you sat down and you notice that and you say, can I speak to the manager? Or you don't want to give them a tip or whatever it is, like suddenly that's a big deal and suddenly it might ruin your night because that person wants to, talk about it, or they want to talk to the manager, or because they want their food comped because they were slighted or felt slighted. Yeah. Regardless of whether or not it was justified or not, sometimes this happens. This happens when you're Black.
I mean, I was on a date, right? And I was sitting in a location where there was high traffic and high volume of traffic. And my seat kept getting bumped. I was on a date with a Black woman. And for me, I sat there because I was like, okay, if she sits there just by her personality alone, I was like, if she sits there, she's going to get upset. Yeah. So I was like, why don't you sit here and I sit here? Because I know my temperament. I can handle it. Excuse me. And I've worked in the restaurant industry, so I know, the ins and outs and everything like that. And, I kept getting bumped, but for me, I was trying to focus on us connecting and our conversation. Yeah. But she just kept bringing it up. You're getting bumped. I need to complain. I need to write them a review. I need to do this. And I'm like, and I said it. I was like, I'm just trying to enjoy you right now. Right. I'm okay with this. I know now I won't sit here again. Right.
I won't make this mistake twice,
but I'm not going to allow something that cannot be prevented. Right. I mean, it's just...
And it's not even personal.
And it's not personal. But she kept trying to escalate it. And I was like, no, let's keep it here. So I don't know. Yeah.
My thing about that is I still would prefer the Black woman, mostly because I want to be seen in a way that other folks can't see me. That doesn't mean that a person who is not Black can't see me, because a person who is not Black can see me better than some Black people. I know several white women who would see me better than a Candace Owens will see me. So they exist. You look like I'm tripping.
Well, you said her name, and when I hear her name,
it's about her. Yes, bad taste. I understand. So it's not an issue of not finding someone who can deal with the issues and won't make me feel a certain way about the experiences that are happening to me. But at the same time, it's just like, I want to be seen. That's one of the most important things about relationships. They say that with relationships, you want to be witnessed. And the fact is, not everyone is going to be able to see you. They're going to look at your situation and go, why are you making this a Black thing? Again. And it's like, well, I'm sorry, I'm Black, and this happens to me on a consistent basis. It is what it is. Yep. But yeah, the point is, I've already answered the question, and you've answered the question, and we can move on. But
let's go.
I love to digress.
You do. Can you be pro-Black if you don't consider yourself African American?
Yeah. I think that I am someone who, now, Raven Simone got canceled for this. Well, I don't know if she was canceled so much.
We're trying to get followers. Don't get us canceled too soon, yo.
Raven Simone was, lambasted on the internet for her belief that being African American, that she was not African American, essentially. And a lot of people have gotten a lot of criticism for that. And I have to say that I'm one of the people who agrees, kind of. I know that my ancestry comes from Africa, but I am not African American because my lineage is American. My lineage for the last at least 3 ancestors has been American. I've never been to Africa. I do know a little bit about my African history because my brother has done the DNA testing, and I know that I am from the Yoruba tribe of Nigeria. But outside of that, I do not have an actual connection to Africa. So I am American, and I am Black American, and I believe I am pro-Black American. So there is no connection to African American for me. But if I'm checking it on the box and that's the only box available, I'm certainly not going to check European American. But, you know, the fact is most people who are in America and are not first generation consider themselves American. So why would I bifurcate that and say that I am African American? I am American, and Black American specifically. What about you, friend?
Well, you brought up the check in the box, and it does say white, Black, Caucasian, African American, and then it goes on and on, Asian American.
I think it's very interesting that it says non-Hispanic first.
Non-Hispanic.
It says non-Hispanic first. Is there a reason for that? That's weird.
I don't know. It's whatever they're doing. So when I was in college, there was a gentleman that was from Africa, and he was just here to get his education. And then he said, I don't consider you African, so why do you call yourself African American? He was like, you know, you got Italian American, you have all of these different cultures that associate back to their heritage and their family that's still alive in these other countries that they have a connection to. Why do you consider yourself African American? When you go back to Africa, what family do you go visit?
He was starting something. That's what that sounds like.
And, you know, it made me think, but I was upset because what he spoke of was the fact that because of slavery and because of everything that our ancestors in the United States had to go through, I lost a connection back to my family bloodline. And the only way you can figure out is by doing the DNA test. But even doing the DNA test, what does that tell you? It's like, oh, well, that's where my roots are. I don't speak their language. If I go back, they probably be like, hey, how you doing? But it's not like, yo, what's up, dog? You know what I'm saying? This is my family. This is it. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, in my older years, I say both. I say African American and I also say Black. And I think it wasn't until 2020 that I started to acknowledge more that I'm Black. I'm a Black American.
What were you acknowledging before?
Just African American. I would say Black as well, but I'm saying, like, if I'm going to identify myself, I say a lot in the podcast. I say I'm African American. That's what I've been used to saying. But in 2020, I was like, no, I'm Black American. I don't need to say African American. I can just say I'm Black because at the same time, even though I am associating myself to my ancestry, by saying Black, who we are today as a race, as a culture, is different than who we were years before. And I know I'm trying to like explain it in a sense where I won't lose my Black card.
Okay, we're in danger.
We're in danger zone. What I'm saying is that I'm Black. I'm proud to be Black.
Yeah.
I am pro-Black. And the way I talk, the music that I dance to, the music that has been created by the people here in the United States is different from any other country or continent in this world. So I want to own that and say, yeah, blacks did this. We did this. Black Americans did this. I think it's okay to consider yourself black or consider yourself African American. But if you don't say African American, doesn't mean you're not pro-black. Because there's a lot of blackness that you should be proud about that only people here from the United States did.
What about if you don't consider yourself black? Because technically, neither one of us, and most black people, are not the color black. As a kid, I literally was just like, I'm not black, I'm actually brown, but you call Hispanic or Latino people brown. How does that make sense?
And they're tan, right?
We want to distinguish that they are tan and we are brown. And
well, we can't have an episode called pro-black and now we're saying, I'm not even black. I'm tan. I am pro-darker skin.
I'm just pointing out the fact that...
If you see how I did that, it's skin, but I said skin.
Scan. Yes, I
My
heard it.
southern accent came out just then.
I was ignoring it.
Ew.
I mean, you want me to point out that you said scan and not skin? I think it's nicer not to, or kinder not to.
Anyway, can you ask your question?
Yes, I can. Can you... Now, see, the funny thing is, I spent a lot of time during the pandemic on Clubhouse, and there were so many rooms on Clubhouse about being pro-black. And there was this idea that if you are in the LGBTQ community and or you were someone who was not trying to have babies, specifically, obviously, black babies, could you be pro-black? Justis, what say you?
Well, I guess I'm not pro-black.
Oh.
Because not only am I a member of the LGBTQAI plus community, I ain't popping out any kids from this uterus.
Neither am I, friend.
So
well, probably not.
And, you know, my thing, which is, like, this entire episode's, you know, really going back to my childhood. And so even though I haven't said my inner child, this is really going back to my childhood. I never wanted to have kids. And the reason why I didn't want to have kids because I didn't like this world that we lived in. And I'm like, why am I going to bring a child into this world? And then knowing that, what makes a great parent? There's no rule books. There's no guided book that can help you become a great parent. I don't even know what that is. You have good parents, you have decent parents, but you got one parent that over loves, you got one that under loves, you got one that over gives, you got one that doesn't give. You got so much, and every child and parent have their complications, even in adulthood. So it's like I didn't want to take a beautiful gift and fill their heads with only what I know. Because there's so much more to life than what I had to offer and what I have to offer. I didn't want to limit them. And that was just, for me, I mean, that's kind of like putting myself down in a sense. Like I don't have, but then I see my friends that have had kids and I just love them. I adore them. I adore the kids. I adore seeing my friends become parents and the way they're parenting. And it's beautiful. But at the end of the day, I guess I'm not pro-black.
If those are the parameters.
If those are the parameters. And guess what?
Fuck you if you believe that.
Boom.
I have to agree with the fuck you if you believe that.
But the rest of the shit, Justis.
I mean, well, the idea that you can only share, the only value as a parent you have is sharing your knowledge, and you might be inadequate because it wasn't, you know, everything that you could possibly share, that seems like you're setting yourself up for not being enough. And frankly, if that's the case, no one is enough. And we would not have children today. We would not be here because literally the people who came before us did not know enough. And the people who came before them did not know enough. We are building on knowledge with this.
We're building blocks.
Yes.
And it's
parents
beautiful.
literally, that's what literally parents are. You know, the goal literally is to give your kids more than you have. And that's what's wrong with the world today. And this is one of the reasons why I consider not bringing a life into this world, because if I were to have my way, I'm going to be marrying a woman who we would have to go through extreme lengths to have a kid that was biologically mine or hers. We would have to go through IVF or some kind of donation process.
Would you allow her to sleep with the guy?
First thing, I don't think I can allow any woman to do anything.
If you guys were in a relationship,
would I want to do it the natural way?
Yeah.
I would not want my wife having sex with someone in order to have a baby, if that's your question.
Yeah.
I do think that there's a way to do it without financial costs, and I would be open to doing it that way.
The little turkey?
Yes, the turkey baster. And let's bring it back from the 60s and the 50s or whenever, that became a thing. Absolutely. I am all about financial responsibility. But the point,
put that money into the egg incubator.
I would rather not. But the point is, you have to go to lengths in order to make it happen. And ideally, I would want to avoid that if possible. It's not going to stop me is the point. Would I want to do that? The point that you made? No. The point that you would not be, you don't have the knowledge you don't have whatever. It's like, here's the thing. If we are not doing that, then we are hoping for the best in terms of the people who are not for us. The number of people who are against us is great. So they are raising kids who think that they should not, that LGBTQ folks shouldn't have rights. We need to have a generation of folks who actually think that we should have rights. Absolutely. And if we aren't raising those kids, who is? We have to worry about straight people raising kids who are open and who aren't, suppressing their kids and saying you can't be gay.
And to be a little clear on that, when I talked about my inner child, that was before I was even thinking about my gayness. Like, me not wanting to have kids had nothing to do with my sexuality.
Okay.
So, and it stayed even when I was gay. I was like, oh, still don't want to have kids. Like, it was just, didn't want to have kids.
To be clear, I never wanted to physically give birth. Honestly, when I realized that I was attracted to women and I wanted to be on this side, honestly, I was like, okay, great. That's even more reason not to have a baby, because she could do that. I've always wanted to adopt. I think I told you this before, that even when I thought that I was straight and I was looking for a man, my goal was to find someone who would be okay with adopting kids, because I don't want to physically get pregnant and have a baby.
Do you want your DNA out there in the world?
I think that my DNA is good and we should, have more of it out there in the world. But
You sound like a man. That's where
I'm just being honest that I think that it's not an issue of my DNA. It's more of an issue of the fact that there are so many kids out there who need families. I've always thought that because I don't want to give birth, and at the time, up until I was 25, I was only considering that one option, that maybe if I loved my husband enough, I would have a kid. But I never wanted to have one. I never wanted to be physically pregnant.
Yeah. Adopting is something that is still of interest for me.
For you.
I mean, I'm not diving into it.
Right. There are kids out there.
Yeah.
And we can, I don't think we can save the world, but we don't have to. That's like going to a breeder for a dog. Like you can adopt a dog from a pound. I don't think we can save the world, but I definitely think that there are kids out there who need homes, and we don't have to go to the extreme lengths of, going through IVF and sperm donation when we can find a kid that needs a home. Personal opinion. Anyway, I do think that you can be pro-Black and be LGBTQ. I think you cannot be pro-Black if you think that women or any gay person or any trans person is supposed to not be who they are in order to serve the Black community. How dare you?
How dare you?
How dare you think that we're supposed to sacrifice ourselves for a community that is supposed to be for us?
And this was in Clubhouse, right?
Yeah, this was on Clubhouse.
Did you ever go off on people in Clubhouse?
Not really. I very often did not come off mic, but Clubhouse became a text thing, and you could leave audio messages and stuff like that. So I never went back after they made that change.
Oh wow!
But the point is, you cannot be pro-Black if you want to subjugate us in the same way that white supremacists have done for centuries. You can't say, I want freedom for some of us and not all of us. It does not work that way. Period. Anything else you want to say on this subject, friend?
No, you got it. It's hot in here all of a sudden, and I'm feeling the steam, so let me just...
Thank you. I'm going to need some peeled grapes next.
Yep.
All right. So we're going to go to after school. We take a dip in a pool, which is really off the wall.
Ooh.
I something watch the Knicks play basketball.
What rhythm was that?
I ended on the right place, but I lost some words in the middle. Just go with it.
Rhythm. Can you be pro-Black if you ain't got rhythm? Hell nah.
Yes, you can.
I was joking. I was just joking, friend.
Yes, you can. You can be pro-Black. Can you believe I was the choir director in my church? Yeah, it was terrible. It was the kids' choir. It was not the regular choir. And our pianist was blind, so he could not direct them quite the way that was necessary.
A sane person could.
Yes.
Why not?
Because he didn't know who was fucking up. He might have known who was fucking. It was just a little different. You can't meet somebody's...
Ray Charles knew.
You can't meet somebody's eye and be like, get yourself together. I'm just saying.
He need to work on his
Or maybe it was just a way to get me involved in church.
Yeah,
it was just. It's totally possible. Whatever.
He has a superpower, and his hearing's on point, so he can call out everybody.
Can you do that in church though? Can you be like, hey, you can't. The point is, I served a purpose in the church.
Hallelujah.
I was serving the Lord.
Hallelujah.
And I was struggling with my rhythm. That is a question for the next episode about pro-Blackness. In this, we are almost at the end, and let's talk about what we're doing right now. What are you working on, my friend?
I'm working on getting organized with my scheduling. A lot of creative opportunities have come my way. And from my day job to our creations to just creating, period, and then taking on some clients, I'm trying to find that time where I can find some sleep. But most importantly, where I'm able to really slide in my self-care as well, which I'll talk about that later. But just being able to balance everything, schedule it out, hit it, boom, boom. And I've been doing it, but I can just go on. I don't consider this work.
Your creative endeavors?
Yeah, it's not just about it being my passion. It's like it's a part of me. It's an extension of me. So I can just keep going like the Energizer Bunny, like you said before. And now I realize that I've gone so far until I'm like, oh, I'm gonna lay down for a nap, and I wake up the next day like, oh damn.
Oh wow.
You know, but when I wake up, I'm like, what can I do? You know?
Okay.
So I just want to get that scheduling down pat.
I want to encourage you to have sleep. And this is not just for you. This is also for our listeners and viewers out there. Sleep is very important to our health. Mm-hmm. So I know you are already prone to staying up late and working past midnight, and yet you have this schedule where you wake up at 4 a.m. And I want to say that you need more sleep than that.
Yeah.
We all need more sleep than that. I struggle to get my 7+ hours because I, have been going to sleep later than I should be. But it is always a goal to be in bed by 10:30. So I encourage you to get that scheduling together.
Thanks, Mama.
You're welcome.
And what about you? What are you doing?
I'm working on my puzzle. It did come on time, so be rooted. Thank you. Appreciate it. I appreciate that my puzzle came when y'all told me it was coming. And I've already got the frame together, the edges all together. I got that all done the first night. And now I'm working on building the rest of it, putting the rest of it together. My goal is to be done in the week from the Wednesday I got it.
That's interesting that you start off with the frame.
Yeah.
I don't do that.
Why would you not do that?
I start off with one piece and put it down, and then I just start building different pieces as I start seeing them come together. Okay. And I'm just building different areas. I'm like, all right, oh, this is going to be over here somewhere. Okay, this is here, this is here.
And are you looking at the picture as you do it?
Yeah, so that I realize, oh, this is this area, and this is this area, and this is this area. And then I start bringing these bigger pieces that I've already put together, start bringing them together to make the entire picture. I just, because if I focus on one thing, for example, my goal is to get the edges together, then I feel like I'm missing something. So I just look at it as it is and just start building.
That's interesting.
I like chaos. There's order in chaos.
There is no order in chaos, but I hear you, and I have to say that I did start looking at the picture in the beginning, and within the first hour, I had half of the frame together, and I was just like, nope, I have to stop looking at the picture. So I put it away. I put the picture away so this would take longer. The point of the puzzle is so that I can, one, find a hobby that is not looking at the TV, and two, focus on my creativity and engaging my mind in a new way.
Nice.
So and also it was not a cheap puzzle. So I don't want to go through it so fast that I bought two, to be clear. So I don't want to be done with it so swiftly that I don't get the satisfaction of the struggle. I think that there is a reward in the struggle. So I have to. Is that weird? If it's too easy, then I don't feel like I'm going to get what I wanted out of it. I wanted a little bit of a challenge. I wanted to...
But if your brain is functioning in a manner that you're able to solve it faster, then you should give yourself some kudos because your brain is working faster than most people.
I do give myself kudos on, solving it, but I've bought it for the challenge and I need to drag it out a little bit more. I need more of a slow burn with my puzzle.
Oh, you like the slow burns?
Indeed. Right. In other aspects of life as well.
All right, so let's go to self-care. What are you doing for self-care, my friend?
My puzzle.
All right, we had enough of that. Let's go to jump to me.
Yeah, what are you doing, my friend? How are you self-caring?
I'm setting myself up for a spa day.
Okay.
I haven't been to a spa in a minute. And when I say a minute, it's probably since before COVID.
Really? You've not had a spa? Like, what does your spa day entail?
It entails going to a spa.
Yes.
Getting into like a salt bath.
Oh.
Being able...
Are you getting in mud?
I get into mud, do all that, get a little body massage,
Okay.
Yeah. It's just a whole day for about, I don't know if it's a whole day, it's about like 4 or 5 hours. Just letting the tensions out.
You know what's funny? I bought spa packages for my crew when I did, one of my productions, and I never used them. And I didn't give them away either. So I spent a lot of money for spa packages and did not use them. Here, I've never done a spa day.
Well, you should do that, friend.
I probably should. I probably only had like 2 professional massages in my entire life.
Oh, you're missing out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, Justis, what are you doing for your time capsule?
In my time capsule, I'm pulling out Janet Jackson's Rhythm Nation 1814 album. Why? That's one of my favorite albums in the 80s. And the messaging that she had in that album, I think is still relevant to the events and everything that is happening in the world today, especially in the United States. And yeah, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We are part of a Rhythm Nation.
We are part of a Rhythm Nation.
No, it's Prince, but
Yes, she's really big on Prince.
I just...
Okay, so...
Caryn, what are you pulling out of the time capsule?
I'm going to pull out James Brown's song, Say It Loud, I'm Black and I'm Proud. That was a war cry and a call for us to lift our heads, lift our voices, and stand together against a world that would rather have us beneath their heels. And I think that it is one of those songs, along with What's Going On. At the time, that song was when we were claiming Black as our self-identifier. We were called colored and Negro prior to that. And I'm Black and I'm Proud was the song that was the surge for us to claim that identity. And though I do not look like, tar, I am Black and I'm proud, and I will never, ever, ever be anything else, nor will I want to. Despite the struggle, I think that we offer something that is undeniable to this world, and I love that for us.
Amen.
I'm Black and I'm proud. Say it loud.
Cheers to that.
Cheers to that. Your homework is to follow us at Hopscotch-N-Jacks-Pod on Instagram, to write to us at Hopscotch-N-Jacks-Pod at gmail.com with storytime in the subject, and to subscribe wherever you get your podcasts.
You can also get to know us at
Caryn Got This on Instagram, because I'm not anywhere else, and at
Art of Justis. That's with the IS, not an ICE. And I'm on other platforms, but let's just stick to Instagram right now. I'm I'm wavering with these other locations that I'm at.
You posted a thread that Instagram told me to check out.
I
couldn't because I was not on Threads.
Yeah, I don't even know when I joined Threads.
Instagram lying on you then.
It like posts them automatically. So I don't, like, I think if you post a video, it posts on Threads. I have no idea. I'm not on Threads to do that. So I connected to Threads, like, when it
you
first
connected
came out.
to them. That's why.
Yeah, but I only have one account that's on there. So I don't know.
You have several accounts on Instagram, though.
I do. But it's business.
Understood.
All right, so subscribe, like, follow, and comment below.
Please let us know what you think. What do you think pro-black means, and what does it not mean? We're curious to know.
And happy Juneteenth.
Happy Juneteenth.
Let's go.
That's it. Boom.